Welcome back to Street Level Marketing with Mark Lamplugh, with our guest from Poplar Wellness, Nick Boatman. We're going to start talking about, getting it back into that marketing, where we're going to determine where that marketing spend's going to be. As new businesses, it usually finances are the thing that you hold dear, and you want to spend as little as possible because you're new. So you want to come up with innovative ideas on the way you can get your product or your service out into the marketplace, and uh, you know so you can start generating more business. And Nick, when you were starting this, what was the process in going into your marketing plan? You kind of had to figure out who your customers were going to be. What did that look like for you?
Yeah, you're exactly right. Marketing dollars are something that you really have to pay attention to. And the best advice that I can give you, it's having a plan. We put together a pro forma, to where we've allocated every dollar from the beginning, and putting together all the pieces of the puzzle for a projected strategic plan, right? So we have our business plan. We know who our target market is, who we're going after, who our competition is, really narrowing in on that. And then outlining a pro forma, which is, financials, what we're going to need to get this off the ground, where we're going to spend our money. And when it comes to marketing, I don't care what anybody says. Marketing is everything for any business. If you don't have marketing and you can't sell product, you can't do, your business isn't going to succeed. So, a lot of it at the beginning is what I call just guerrilla marketing. It takes an endless just pursuit of going after it and working harder than the next people. Hard work and consistency, just determination, beats everything. So what we did was, we are B2B. So we go directly to other businesses, other treatment centers. LinkedIn was a huge tool for us because that's where you can reach other business owners, right? You can reach other CEOs, you can reach CMOs. So I think it's really understanding who you're going after, and then the need, right? How are you going to help them? If you have a product or a service, you have to offer something for somebody else. And that's what we do, right? How is this going to help you in your business? How is this going to increase your bottom line or help your population and separate you from other people? So LinkedIn was a huge tool for us in kind of mass messaging on there. We also did a lot of email campaigns to where we went out and had lists that you can find them all over, right? You can purchase them on the internet. You can find anything on the internet, and a lot of mass mailing, and then just getting out there. We went to conferences. Every single event that was happening that we knew that was big in treatment, putting together some basic marketing materials and making it look good. You can go on Fiverr or some of these other websites and get logos made for really cheap. And you can get marketing materials, brochures, and starting to get the word out. And it's really proving the concept at the beginning. And that's all us. There was two of us, three of us at the beginning, right? And we had to go out there and just represent it, because nobody, as far as capital raise and doing any of that, proving the concept comes first, showing that you can sell, it's a viable product, making sure you're making those marketing dollars count, and taking it to the next level after that.
Yeah, one of the things in doing marketing now that I love is, a lot of the AI tools and platforms. I mean, there's, websites out there that you can go to another person's website and they'll pull all the emails, and you can create email lists, and
Yep.
it's actually kind of fun. You're pulling
That GPT is one of my best friends. Let me tell you, I've saved so much money on attorneys, lawyers, finding out, writing content, writing emails, producing images, you name it. And that's technology. Use it to your advantage. It's a huge help and a huge money saver.
I think one of the things too, especially understanding, what you're providing treatment centers, it's not necessarily for them. And I think the hurdle that you have is you have a product, that offer that there might not be a direct return for the business other than being able to teach them how they can use that in their marketing to generate business for themselves, because you're off.
And it is, because there's an indirect return, right? So we're not directly depositing anything into your bank account. We are a subscription service. This is $100 a bed, right? And that's a monthly cost. But what this does, like you're saying, there's a couple advantages. One, from the marketing standpoint, nobody's using this. And most treatment centers out there, I'm sorry to say it, they're the same. They offer, medical services and talk therapy. But to use technology to differentiate yourself from the competition is huge. You can use it on your website and your emails, all in your marketing material, and it gives you a competitive advantage. So that's one. And then, you have to know how you're going to help that center. Yes, we help the clients in client care and safety, but we also can help on the staffing side. Everybody's, short-staffed on nurses and medical staff. And if something happens and you get hit with a lawsuit, that's big money. So we can save you on getting ahead of things and give you more bang for your buck, because you're able to monitor all of your clients, even if you have lower staff. And then we're also saving on hospitalizations. We get in front of these things, and for a treatment center, if their client goes to the hospital, it's not good for the client. They're in there for 3 days. The treatment center has to hold that bed for that client. They're not billing, and they're losing out on thousands of dollars while they're gone. So this helps get in front of that, and we reduce hospitalizations. So they see an indirect return, but it's selling that portion and having people realize, hey, there's more to this.
Even in the reputation aspect of it, when there are deaths, unfortunately, at facilities, the long-term effect that can have on a treatment center's reputation.
100%.
Yeah,
we that's a huge thing. We see it happen all the time.
Mm-hmm. When you were coming up with your, in the beginning, your limited resources as far as, financially go, the aspect goes for your spend, how did you determine what you could spend based on what you had? Was there any sort of process you went through? Was there test runs for advertising?
Well, first off, I always recommend, unfortunately, I'm in a spot to where I could bootstrap this and use some of my own cash. I've gotten to a point to where, we're raising capital right now as we speak. But you have to work with what you have. And if you're going out to get capital, I would much rather have too much than too little, because investors get short arms. When you come back to them for more money, they don't like that. You don't want to be in that position. So you have to make use of what you have. And the most valuable thing that you have is your own time and energy, right? So we put, we know what we have for the day-to-day operations. We save money any place that we can for just, I guess, our original product, our software, get it to a point to where we can at least release it onto the market. And then I'm a big believer that everything that you can, you put as much money into market. You got to be smart on where you put those dollars and what you're doing, but start running some different campaigns. You take a couple of things, email marketing, LinkedIn, maybe you're doing PPC, some pay-per-click ads, but you choose what you think is wisest, right? That's going to be the best for your brand and your product to sell. You allocate a budget to each one of those, and they call it split A/B testing. So you're testing these different campaigns, and you have to know where things are coming from. If I'm making a sale, where did you hear about us? Where did that come from? And you'll see over time what's working and what's not working. And then you have to constantly go back, restructure, and say, okay, the PPC and the pay-per-click, that was working. Let's put more dollars into that. We didn't get much off the email campaigns because not many people were opening them. We didn't have a good conversion rate there. Let's change it to where 80%, of this budget is now going to go over to the pay-per-click, and we're going to limit and switch some things up with the email marketing to see if we can get a little bit better.
Now, having another business while you're starting a new one kind of has its advantages because you might have a lot of the team in place. Did you utilize a lot of the marketing team from your one business in creating like the brochures and everything that you needed to get out there, or did you keep everything separate and kind of do it separately from one business to the other?
Yeah, well, the way that I did it, speaking from my own experience, is having another business and trying to start another business. It's dicey because you have to make sure that you have everything in place. Focus is the most important thing. If you're trying to do too many things at one time, nothing will succeed. You have to have laser focus on whatever you're doing. So people and the structure, right? The bones of your organization is so important. So I have a management company, and on my management company, I have an executive C-suite, right? I'm the CEO, the COO, CFO, CMO. I have a full call center. I have, a creative branding director that does all of our design, our brochures, all that. So that's the central hub for anything that I get into. And you have to have stability and make sure that good people, if you are going to start up another business, that's running and that's doing well, and you have the appropriate infrastructure before you do anything else. And fortunately for us, any business that I have right now, they blend together, right? And it's all part of the same field, and we utilize each business to our advantage to grow them simultaneously, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Well, we come up out of time for this segment, so we'll be right back after this commercial break.